Welcome to No Movies in Hell.
I'm McCall Scott, and today we are reviewing Millennium Mambo, film from 2001.
So, one of the things I don't do is I don't read a lot about movies I'm going to see because I want to just sort of let the movie tell me whatever it's going to tell me.
Same.
I didn't realize this was filmed in 2001.
Yeah, same. I had no idea, like coming into this, what to expect. Like I saw the image of the main character, and I knew that it was going to be at Metrograph, and I love Metrograph. And apparently, it's the first film under their distribution company, which was really exciting to hear that they've ventured into distributing film because I feel like the films that they bring into the theater are often very well curated, whether it's a collection or it's in honor of a director or producer or even an actor. The homage is actually done very, very well. So upon hearing that, it's like, oh, this is very exciting because I feel like we're going to see a lot of really cool films that might not will be kind of temporary in the market. Instantly, what comes to mind for me is Something in the Dirt, which I feel like got like a 1 week run, if that. But I didn't see it much, and it would be nice to see, more films, more independent films, smaller films come to theater.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting that their first movie that they're releasing in this way is a movie from 2001. And it's part of their holiday party. I had not heard of Metrograph before you told me about it a while ago. To me, it's very similar to IFC, where you buy a membership and then you get a discount on your individual tickets throughout the year, except that you also have the streaming option as well that's available for people in the US. The holiday party was fun. It was, I think, really well organized. They had different activities in different areas, and everyone sort of knew what to expect going in. It was definitely a great value. Like, if you remember already, the tickets were only $10 a person, and you could bring
Yeah.
one person who wasn't a member. And there were drinks and appetizers and party atmosphere, Polaroids, photo booth-ish sort of thing happening on the first floor. Just a great experience, especially for my first time there. Kudos to Metrograph. And also they're promoting, I think, especially hard because they have this new membership that they're offering, the dual membership.
Yes.
So if you're looking for last minute holiday gifts, there you go.
If you're looking for a cool place to go to for really, really cool films and lunch and dinners and really cute little curated gift shop too.
Yeah, they have like that restaurant upstairs, which is like a restaurant. Like, you can go there for dinner, even if you don't want to see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the movie. It reminded me of another, and I don't see a lot of Chinese language movies outside of like sort of action movies that seem to make it their way to the US a little bit more often than others. Sort of slice of life. This to me was a very slice of life
Oh, yes.
movie, very slow. Even though it seemed like a lot of stuff was happening, I did spend a lot of time wondering, like, oh, is this going to go really bad
Yes.
here? Or there were so many opportunities for her life to have taken a really bad turn.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't make the greatest decisions, but it didn't really seem to turn out badly for her. It was just sort of like, oh, it could have gone horribly wrong here, but it didn't. And then you watch her smoke and drink some more. and then
Yes. What's
and,
this?
and then here's another opportunity for things to go really south, and they don't. And then she smokes and drinks some more.
I don't know if the smoking was a sign of the times because it was 2001 and I just forget how, I mean, maybe where I am, it wasn't prevalent for people to smoke even in clubs or, just out and about in Southern California, but just remembering like, wow, people actually used to smoke in clubs and in restaurants and things in 2001. And I think even in New York, they banned smoking in the early 2000s too. So yeah, I was just like bringing it back. Within the first couple minutes, I was just like, oh wow, like this is very 2001. Like I love it. it's so the fashion and that rave culture and the blue lights. So the neon blue lights just reminded me so much of Belly. So Hype Williams directed Belly in early 2000, almost the same, around the same time. And it's in a club. The first couple scenes are in a club, and you see like everybody is in blue. And I instantly thought of that and the fluorescence and the music. Yeah, just seeing this character, like, as you mentioned, you just don't know where her life is going to go. Like, the voiceover states that, she's 16. Once she gets enough money, then she's going to leave out of this really damaging relationship with another young person who's making like really terrible personal life decisions. And she's pretty lucky. Like, people are helping her out. Like, her landlord got her a job, not the best job in the world, but gives her exposure to other people and going places. Like, I didn't really, you could get stuck and get frustrated, but it seems like she made a conscious effort of like, oh, I'm gonna like go out, and the people that I met, I'm gonna like follow up with them to see what they're doing in Japan. And she was fortunate enough to find like pretty decent people to like lean on, because she was just so young, feeling like she had to be back with this person who was taking like control of her, which is really unfortunate.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think for gangsters, those guys are super nice.
Yes.
When her ex-boyfriend comes to the club and he wants to talk with her, they're gangsters. You would think that they would have dispatched him much more quickly and in a much more decisive way. But instead, they were just kind of like, no, no, like they were pushing each other. And I was like, well, is that how that would really go down?
Probably not. She probably wouldn't have seen her ex-boyfriend.
Right. That he made it in as far as he did was surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had a hard time understanding what was happening. I think some of the translations were off. I mean, for sure, there were a couple typos that you definitely noticed.
Yeah.
But the wording on some of them was just off enough that it changed the meaning, or you were like, is that right? Like,
Yeah.
and so it took you out of the story, or took me out of the story, especially the part towards the end. This is going to be a spoiler, but it's been out since 2001, so sorry. Where he leaves her sleeping on the couch and goes to Japan.
Yes.
That was a rough transition for me, because I didn't realize in the next scene that she was in Japan. I thought she was just looking for him still. And then she gets the phone, or we hear the message that says, you look like you were sleeping so soundly, I didn't want to wake you up. I had to go to Japan. Like, well, how does she know to go to this other place to look for him so this woman can give her the phone, which presumably has that message on it?
Yeah, but there wasn't a note when she woke up on the couch or anything.
Not that we saw. So I was just like, no, I don't know how that happened. But then Dax explained to me that actually that message was left on her phone.
Oh, and they probably played it like later instead of right when, okay.
Because he recognized in that scene visual cues that indicated she was in Japan at that point. I was like, oh, how would I know that? And he said, well, you can tell by the train that goes by. If you're familiar with what Japanese subway system looks like that's the Japanese subway system. So you see that train go by several times when she's in that little room that he rented for her. And I was like, oh, because I thought she was just still wherever she lived before, because she was holding the phone the whole time. Like, she was waiting for him to call. I don't know. I had a very hard time with either the translations or how the things were sort of conveyed, because I didn't pick up on those visual cues. And I didn't recognize that in some of the scenes when they switched from Mandarin to Japanese. I don't know. They all sound similar to me.
I think I caught up on the transition from Mandarin to Japanese, because the woman at the hotel counter called her Vicky-san. And I was like, oh, interesting. Even the first time she went to Japan, when she met those DJs, I was like, wait, does it snow like that where they are? And then it kind of like dawned on me like, oh, she's in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. So that was interesting. It also reminded me of this movie I saw a really long time ago. I think it's called Chungking Express. It was one of those Quentin Tarantino, I think, was distributing some of his own picks from foreign titles, and he had recommended this one or said that it was really influential in his movie making, and that's why it was part of his collection. But I watched that. It was very slice of life. There were a lot of repetitive scenes. So like this one
Mm.
has her, lighting a cigarette and drinking. And in that movie, there are a lot of scenes with the main female character typing at this giant typewriter, which is like a million characters. So it reminded me of that too. It was very like slice of life. I wasn't always sure what was happening. The dialogue was very sparse too.
Yes.
I don't know if that helped or hurt my understanding in some places.
Yeah, I was trying to think of, was the direction just to like go with it, go for it and create your own dialogue, make it seem like it's very real life? Because I think a lot of the actors, their character names are the same as their like actual, yeah, their actual names or like the character names. So I'm just like, oh, this seems so like real. It doesn't seem like a film. It seems almost like a documentary in some points, with the exception of, I think, the repetitive music. Not just the score, but like the music in the club was the same. So that kind of took me out of the element. You just didn't know where it was going to go from the beginning all the way to the end. I was just like, oh, is this going to be a horrible story of, this woman who doesn't get the money and doesn't like get her life? And realizing like her character was so young, 16 years old, and really didn't get to be a kid or, or think about the consequences of what's going on, especially with her ex-boyfriend.
Right. Let's go to the slide. 23. All right. So we split the difference basically. Oh,
Yeah.
I did think the acting was really great for the script that they had. You could
Hmm.
really, it was very subtle. You could see in their expressions the relationships that were developing and not having a lot to compare it to. I thought the acting was great.
Yeah,
Same,
I completely agree.
yeah, same with cinematography. You gave the costumes a 3.
I did. I really like the costumes, hair, and makeup. It was very, I mean, it was of the time, which is pretty good of, 2001 club culture, crop tops, the Jenko jeans. I love how, well, they had like army sweatshirts that they wore, and I was just like, oh, this is very back when Old Navy first started and everybody had like performance fleece. This had a triggering memory. The hair and makeup, she did all her curls to make her look nice. And it was probably, due to her work, the multiple piercings of her friends. I just thought it was great.
It definitely was of the time. And I like the way that she uses her costumes are definitely helping define her insecurities. Like she's constantly putting on a sweater.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like that's one of the repetitive scenes. She's putting on a sweater, putting on a sweatshirt. She's very Mr. Rogers like in that. Every scene
And,
starts with her putting on a sweater.
or covering up, like not wanting to be seen almost because maybe it's shame because she doesn't want to be in a relationship with a terrible dude.
Yeah, yeah. Jewelry, we both gave it a 2. Production quality set 2. Rater's choice and story, like for everything else, we gave it a 2.
Trying to think like it really was slice of life. Like I was just seeing this purview of this person's like life for a very short period of time, and I thought it was fine. Like I would recommend it, but it is a little difficult to watch in the beginning, and but I just thought that it was good.
When we logged our results, we put in the type of movie that we think it is and the day that we saw it, just for posterity's sake.
Yes.
You classified this as a thriller.
I did. I did. I think just because having just not knowing and coming into it and then seeing like lead up to the first couple of minutes, I was like, oh, is this going to be like, yeah, more of a thriller, more of like a chase? It just has a different outcome. So my initial thought was like, oh, we're going to find out some crazy, messy stuff.
Do you think that changes? I'm going to stop sharing. Do you think that changes the way you feel about this movie by classifying it as a thriller? I classified it as drama. And I know that
Mm.
drama is not your favorite. Go
No,
to.
it's not.
Do you think if you had thought of this as a drama, you would have liked it less?
No, I think that for me, it was not knowing what was going to happen, knowing that I think the uncertainty of it made it a thriller for me.
Mm.
But I would have to say, like, it is more or less a drama. Yeah, I liked it. It was very different than anything that I've seen.
Hmm.
How about you? Are you like more leaning on your scale of drama than any other genre that it could co-partner with?
In preparation for this conversation, I did look it up on IMDb to see how it's classified. And there it's classified as a drama slash romance.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
I wouldn't call it a romance at all.
I could almost see it though, because it's that unrequited thing between her and Jack. And then Jack just, again, spoiler, you don't know. It seems like it could be a thriller, right? Like, because you don't actually know what.
He leaves and he handles his business and you have no idea.
Right. I could see an argument for thriller. I could see an argument for romance. But to me, it's soundly in the drama zone.
Yeah. I would say a comp that would be close. Maybe it would be Decision to Leave. Spoiler alert. There's no murder, or I guess on-screen murders. And that was classified as like a thriller drama too.
Decision to Leave is different to me, only because as the main character, she sort of lets things happen to her. She doesn't really ever take the initiative to change her life. In some ways, like she makes like tiny little steps in that direction. Like she leaves how a couple times, but she keeps going back to him.
Yeah.
But in Decision to Leave, like each character like is making serious like changes to their life at some point. The detective decides to move from his job to the town that his wife wants to live in. Like he changes jobs at the, so that he can be with her more. The female lead is clearly doing stuff that in fact impacts everyone's life.
Yes.
I would recommend it, but selectively, not to everyone. And I would certainly preface it with like, if you like this type of movie, you will like this. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where it's like, if you like thrillers, then I think you would like this, as opposed to if you like dramas, then you would like this.
Right. If you like dramas, maybe go see Decision to Leave.
Yes.
But I think overall, as an experience, I would highly recommend it. Like,
Oh, definitely.
encased in the holiday party, encased in our first sort of experience to Metrograph. It was a great experience. Highly recommend overall.
I agree. And I think it might be on Metrograph's streaming services too.
Yes, because you can definitely see it in theater now. There.
Yes.
Do you have anything to plug in this episode?
No, I mean, I think we have some things coming up that we'll be watching. Babylon, I think, is the last real critically acclaimed film of the holiday season. And then we've seen so many films this year. I'm curious to see if our ratings have changed how we feel. So looking at all of the, going through the data and looking at all of the films that we've ranked so far, and then, how we feel about like our top films.
Yeah, I want to pull that information together because right now the way we're keeping it, it's just grouped by month just to make it easy to manage. But I definitely want to pull together a year-end summary, and maybe we'll publish that in a post, and maybe an episode where we just talk about like, oh, well, now if I were watching that movie again, having seen all the things, I would have changed this and this and this.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting conversation. Okay. I
Oh,
don't.
do you have anything to plug?
I don't. I don't. So we are going into the quiet season. I do have a couple more movies I'm going to try to jam in to a very packed schedule between now and the end of the year. But it has been a great year for movies in general, and also just like this experience of like going to the movies more than I ever had before, talking about them, thinking about them. It's been a great social experience because there was a whole universe of people who I've never had these types of conversations with that I'm now being exposed to and talking with, and it's been fun.
Very cool. Yeah, I'd have to agree. How many times can we see Nicole Kidman? recite the national anthem in AMC theaters.
Right. I feel like at least a few more times. I mean, the question is how long are they going to pay the rights to use her?
Oh, I think she's doing it again next year. I think they re-upped her contract.
Oh, really? I mean, good for her.
I don't think they should change anything except for like maybe her outfit.
I'm not opposed to the outfit she was wearing, but just change it up. Why not?
I I just don't want her to like not say somehow heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Just
Right.
keep that line.
Right. The way they set it up, right? She sits in different spaces within the theater. She sits in the top and you see like the light projecting behind her. So she has like this halo happening. And then you see her sit in the middle. And then you finally see her sit in the front. And there's already a soft drink in that cup holder when she sits down. But the speech is the same throughout, right? As she's moving, she's saying the same thing. So they're cutting it so that if you were just listening to it, you'd never know that she was moving seats. But it is interesting that they want her placed in different spaces in the theater.
AMC, if you need creative direction, please reach out to us.
We will see you next time. And
See you next time.
holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.